You know, differentiating your business from all the others out there is no mean feat. Sure, you can be the cheapest, but we all know where that leads. Or you can offer a more extensive range of products or services, but your competitors will soon catch on to that as well. But businesses that build engaged communities of raving fans are much harder to compete with. Today's guest, Leroy Faure of the Fit Dad Lifestyle, has done just that. Yes, it's a community-minded episode 553 of the 12-year-old award-winning Small Business Big Marketing podcast.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show, where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Tim Reid.
And welcome back to your weekly dose of We're All in This Together marketing. I'm your host, Timbo Reid. You, infinitely more importantly, are a motivated business owner, and you are so ready to crank out some great marketing to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. And that is exactly why this podcast exists. So well done to you for finding it. As per usual, team, there is marketing GOLD dripping from the ceiling over here at Small Business Big Marketing's HQ. So let's get stuck right in. Hey, a quick update. A really big thank you to all of you who either donated or sent a note of support to Sleep Bus's Simon Rowe. He was episode 551 and he has been inundated. He sent me a text message when the episode went out, and he got in before I actually had an opportunity to tell him that the episode was live. He said, I'm guessing the podcast episode has gone live because I'm getting smashed by emails and donations and texts. It was awesome. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for everyone for supporting Simon. If you haven't listened to that episode, 551 is a ripper. It is very inspirational. Another update, a big welcome to all new members of the Small Business Big Marketing Facebook group. We call you guys the Tribesters. There's 1,300 of you now after only a few months, and you're all supporting each other on your marketing journey. It's fantastic. If you haven't joined, look up the Small Business Big Marketing Tribe on Facebook and come along. And a reminder to everyone to call and leave a message on the Small Business Big Marketing hotline, 0480 015 150. Tell us what you think of the show. Share a marketing idea that's working for you. Maybe you've got something else you want to tell me. I don't know. I've got a thick skin. Bit of constructive feedback's always welcome. Anyway, enough from the update land, or the land of updates, I should say. Now on with the show. Okay, let's meet today's guest. Leroy Faure is the founder of Fit Dad Lifestyle, which is a global community supporting men throughout their fatherhood journey. It's such a great idea. I wished I'd had it when I was a young father. Prior to that, Leroy was in the Australian Army for 6 years. He launched and sold a fitness boot camp business in sunny Noosa Heads, as well as running international fitness holidays where he'd take groups of men on personal development adventures to places like Bali, Thailand, and Everest Base Camp. You're getting the kind of idea of what Leroy's like. He's a big fella, a bit of a brute-looking guy, got the tats, got the short hair, but boy, oh boy, he's a bit of an angel in regards to what he's doing with dads around the world. If you're keen to build a community of your own, then you really are going to love my chat with Leroy. His business isn't huge. That's why I find it inspiring. This is all very achievable stuff, what we are about to talk about. He's got 4,000 dads in his community and he turned over 220 grand in the last 12 months, but he's doing some really good stuff in regards to his marketing and his offerings. What I like, though, he's in no hurry to build his empire. He's doing it methodically through an engaged Facebook group. He's got a podcast, blog, ebooks, and a range of supplements that he's recently launched, and I find that really, really interesting. Gone from being a service-based business to product as well. And by the way, the audio quality in the first 5 minutes, it's bearable. It's okay. But Leroy changes microphones 5 minutes in, and it gets a whole lot better. I started off by asking Leroy about his time in the Army.
Mate, I was actually an infantry soldier. So I was posted up to the 2nd Battalion up in Townsville for 4 years. And then after that, I went down to 8-9 area, which is down in Brisbane.
Why did you join the Army?
Mate, I joined the Army more to chase I guess, the lifestyle of travel and fitness. So I grew up in country Victoria wanting the AFL dream like every other, sports fanatic kid. And, back in those days, if you weren't drafted by 18, 19, it was sort of too late. I know these days, you've got mature age athletes getting drafted at 24, 25, 26 and sort of being able to make a career from it. But back then, you get to 20 and it was game over. Now what are you going to do with the rest of your life? So I was fortunate enough to have a few family members in the military. And I just kept seeing them traveling the world and always on, holidays and keeping fit and triathlons and footy and all this kind of stuff. And I thought, what better thing can I do? It's you're free medical, you're free dental, you get to travel the world and you get paid, half decent wage to basically hang out and keep fit and shoot guns all the time. So,
and was that what it was like?
Mate, yeah, it was. And it's probably the one thing I miss is that community or that, footy club-like feeling, because you're constantly around 20, 30 other blokes. You're partying hard on the weekends. You're training hard throughout the week. You're camping out bush. You're going overseas. And, it really did sort of fill that void from, I guess, the footy club days and, carry it through. And, yeah, it was really good.
I wanted to then ask, how did that help you in starting and growing a business, which I would be interested in your response to that. But clearly, one of the things you've been very good at with Fit Dad Lifestyle is building community. And that's through your own need of wanting to be part of a community, which we all have. And more businesses and more business owners need to embrace that idea of community, because we all have a tribe. It might be 10 people, it might be 10,000 people, but we've got to build it and nurture it. So I'd like to have that discussion. But being in the Army, in the infantry, how did that help you in you've had 3 businesses now. How's that helped you?
Mate, I think just the discipline and the resilience to keep pushing through. So no matter what gets thrown at you, whatever, struggles you might come across. And I think, in the military, you've got to think on your feet very quickly and think of a solution or think of, something to get you out of that situation that you may be faced with on the fly. And I think small business and, or businesses in general, the entrepreneurial journey really gives you those tools that you need to, carry on. And, like, for example, the COVID and, this whole crisis that we've gone through in the last year, it's not uncommon for us to be...
Invisible enemy.
Well, that's right. And for us, to be stuck in isolation or to have our freedom taken away from us is just second nature, because we go through that with different training exercises or, your recruit training or deployments and stuff like that. And I think it was, and you may have noticed this yourself with a few of the ex-military members you've spoken to recently, that, it is those people who have had that service, whether Army, Air Force or Navy, that have really excelled and powered through the last 12 months.
Because a lot of people who leave the Army, the Navy or the Air Force, I hear, you're not really set up to go and get a job. You've got no qualifications. Potentially you've got no qualifications, depending on how far you got. You're strong of mind. You're probably motivated. But from what I can tell, a lot of them just kind of fall to the wayside and go and get any job and end up being miserable. Whereas you, for example, have gone, okay, well, actually I have this skill called resilience and the ability to push through any problem, which as business owners, hey, welcome to problems.
Yeah, 100%. I think from the combat cause, it's definitely relevant. Like there's not much things that you can, you can't, shooting a machine gun or a rocket launcher, you can't carry that through to civilian life too well. But then there are people that go do, trades in engineering or go to ADFA and do the university angle, which do have those skills that they can then, transfer out into the civilian world. But yeah, the majority of, people go and join a combat corps and, you do find that 90% of them get out with no real direction or no real idea of what they want to do. And they will go join the mines or join the police or fireys and sort of continue on that mission because, you just don't have, you have that mental resilience and you have that, work ethic, but, you don't have a career path. And I think that's one thing that needs to be focused on a lot more by defence in the transition. So with people leaving.
So Leroy, you left the Army around 2011 and you start Boot Camp Noosa. Was that your first foray into running your own business?
Yeah, it was. And, leaving the military, the only thing that I had qualification-wise was the personal training certificate. So I was sort of forced into that industry because, I didn't have any other skill set. I didn't want to go work away in the mines. You know, to join the police or fireys would have been a 6-12 month process of, you know, applying. Yeah. So I thought, well,
and you're probably a bloody beast coming out of the military. You're covered in tats and the biceps are just bulging. So it's like, what more can I do? I'm going to be a PT.
Yeah, well, and that's it. So I went to apply for a few, you know, roles at the gym, and, you know, went there and did a few trials and stuff. And I just didn't want to be working for anyone. I've just spent 6 years getting told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And I thought, no, I'm just going to go do what I like to do, which is train groups. And we started with on a neighbour's block in Noosa Waters there, and then we moved to the beach, and then we got our own facility after that. And mate, we ran that for about 6 years before selling that off in 2017.
That's awesome. And a business that you loved. Why did you choose to sell it? Was there another opportunity had come along? I noticed you'd started International Fitness Holidays during that time as well. So at one point you had 2 businesses going.
Yeah, so we're taking groups to Bali, Thailand, Everest Base Camp, and
wow.
Yeah, it was sort of. It was a way to get a paid holiday a few times a year. So we'd always take the family over there, not to Everest, obviously. That was just a solo thing. But we had a couple of kids by that stage. And yeah, if we had a trip to Bali, it would like do the fitness holiday for a week and then get a week sort of paid holiday at the end of it. So
tell us about your mindset running Boot Camp Noosa and International Fitness Holidays. You've left the army. You're running a business for your first time. Do you look back on that, 6 years, and think, were you winging it? Did you know what you were doing? How were you making decisions in order to grow the business?
Yeah, mate, I think definitely in the first year I was winging it. I was signing up for, you know, courses by different online trainers from America and trying to replicate different models. But I always had that vision for something more. Like I think in my first 6 months of business, I went and approached Jets and said, I think we should franchise Boot Camp Noosa in Oakland. We can attach it to every Jets across the country. And like
Jets being a gym franchise?
That's right, yeah. And like I was 6 months old. I had no credibility to my name. But I was just like, I'm just going to go to the CEO because they were Sunshine Coast based. And let's try and franchise this model. This is how we're going to do it. And I think I just always wanted more. And I think the University of YouTube, like over the last 8 years, and even to this day, we still make our own website. We still do our own podcasts and, you know, product design and all this kind of stuff. And I've got no formal qualifications. There's no TAFE courses, no university courses. It's just YouTube. It's trial and error. See what works and see what doesn't work. And
tell me about the University of YouTube, because it's a two-edged sword. On one sense, there's everything there. You know, I decided the other day that I was going to service my broken lawnmower. Now, I tell you what, mate, I am no good. I am no mechanic at all.
Yeah.
At all. But I got onto YouTube and I can tell you the lawnmower is a Briggs & Stratton Classic 35. That's the model. I somehow figured out that was the model. I YouTube or Google servicing a Briggs & Stratton Classic 35, and sure enough, there's some Cockney bloke in the back blocks of England with a cigarette in his hand, and it's a 19-minute video on how to service a Briggs & Stratton Classic 35. And I'm done. And I've saved myself probably $120 from the local lawnmower bloke. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Now, my time doing that probably could have been spent more efficiently elsewhere, but it was good for the heart and soul, and I feel better for it. So there's a bit of a trade-off. You as a business owner are using the University of YouTube to do everything, to design products, to design logos, to figure out how to edit a podcast, and it's got you there.
Yep.
Is this purely a cash flow decision because you can't afford to pay others to do it, or are you going to be the business owner that wants to control absolutely every aspect of it at the expense of something else?
Yeah, it's definitely not a cash flow thing. I think it's more control. I struggle with giving that control to other people, and I expect it at such a high level, you know, and I think I've heard this on your podcast or heard it before, like someone doing it at 90% of what I think I could do it at that saves me 10 hours is a lot better return on investment than me doing it 100% and doing the 10 hours. But yeah, I sort of like things done a certain way. And, I'm actually giving a lot more control now than what I was 5 or 6 years ago to other people like designers.
What was that turning point?
Mate, just not having enough time in the day. 3 kids, a business that is doing, X per year, and, trying to.
What's X equal?
X equals about 220 in the first 9 months, I reckon. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, mate, it's been a good start to.
How's that make you feel?
Mate, pretty good, but it's not 500, and that's where I want to be. So, mate, it's just striving to that next level. Like, we had our biggest month last month, and it's good for about 2 minutes, but then it's just the tick in the box. Right, what can we do next month? And it's just like it's forgotten about. Like, you spend a whole month working towards it.
All I want to say to that is it's more than 2 minutes. And I say this to you as I look you in the eye over Zoom, but to any other business owner listening, is you got to celebrate the wins, man. And it's like 2 minutes is better than no minutes, but, go and, get into the habit of ringing a friend or ringing your wife and saying, hey, guess what? This happened, or, popping a bloody cork off a shampoo or whatever it may be. But I don't think we do it enough. And I think it's something we all need to do more.
Yeah. Well, she's got the Shopify app on her phone.
Right. So she hears it
as
go
well.
through.
So she gets the little changs going off on her phone. So, yeah, she's all over it. Yeah.
Okay, listen, so in 2018, you start Fit Dad Lifestyle, and that's the business you're talking about now, which is a lovely little micro business that is growing at a rate of knots, and that's awesome. So where'd the idea for Fit Dad Lifestyle come from, and how would you describe the brand? What is it all about?
Yeah, so going back to, I guess, the fitness holidays and being overseas in Bali and Thailand, we were always taking the children with us, and we'd be all at these nice villas or resorts, and we'd always doing workouts, like keeping fit ourselves. And the kids got to an age where they were imitating us, or we could use them as weights and stuff like that. And we started posting a few of these videos online and, to the community that we had at the time. And we kept getting asked, what workout should I do with my kids? Or, can you post that, workout regime that you put online, and so I can copy it? And it sort of just got us thinking. So I did a bit of a contra deal with one of my clients at the time. She was the photographer, and, I decided that, hey, I'm going to do an ebook, and I'm going to sell millions of copies because there's millions of fathers worldwide, and you take all the pictures, I'll provide all the information. And yeah, mate, I spent about 6 months putting that together, having everything in place, and I sold about 2 copies in the first 3 months, and it just, I think I shelved the Fit Dad Lifestyle for another 6 months after that, because I was like, what just happened? Like, I've just spent 6 months putting every spare minute into creating this perfect ebook that I think is going to, sell millions of copies and make me a best-selling author. And yeah, it just flopped. And it really turned, a downer on that. And it wasn't till, I reckon, about 6 months later, I took myself over to Thailand. It was a bit of a soul-searching trip, and I went to one of the resorts that we used to take the fitness retreats. Just myself, I just wanted a week of Thai kickboxing, eating clean, and ice baths and saunas and all this different stuff, just to get my mindset right. Because when I've got my mindset right, I find that I'm the most creative and can really think clearer and get that plan for the future in line. And yeah, when I got over there, I actually thought of the name, the Fit Dad Lifestyle, and had a bit of a plan. I created a Facebook group and added every father I knew off my personal friends and added them into the group. And I just started giving content.
Hold that thought for one tick, because I want to talk about how you built it. But just that idea of a soul-searching trip overseas, it's such a great idea, and clearly it worked for you. I only this morning was speaking to a pretty heavy hitter in the FMCG space in Australia, the fast-moving consumer goods. This person owns their own business, and they every Thursday have a blue sky thinking day, every single Thursday. Now, this is a guy who's running, I've just said it to he, but he's running a multi-million dollar business. Yeah, he has a blue sky thinking day, and no one is allowed to get in the way of that. And it's a fantastic idea. So clearly it works. I think we all need to do that a little bit more. So you go, okay, this Fit Dad Lifestyle, awesome idea. You like the feel of it. There's clearly community involved. So it ticks that box for you. So you need now to start just creating content in order to build an audience, in order to build a tribe. What content were you creating?
I was creating ebooks and, different landing pages that might have like a top 10 tips for dads, or a top, nutritional plans, or this and that. And I just started giving. So I think I come off a pretty heavy period of really investing into that whole Gary V YouTube and podcast content. And one of his biggest philosophies is give, and then, take. So I thought, well,
Jab, 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 right hook, as his
exactly,
book is called.
yeah, one of his books, yeah. And I thought, well, instead of creating a product or creating a service, I'm just going to build out this community for the next year or two, and then I'm just going to see where it goes and see what the actual community wants. Because much like the ebook, I might create something and spend all this time creating the perfect product or the perfect service, but no one wants it. So I thought, well, I'm going to just give as much information and basically data dump everything I know onto these dads from around the world, which the group very quickly grew. And I think it's sitting about 4,000 dads now worldwide. And yeah, it sort of allowed me to work out what they wanted and be able to create a product now and also a service offering based upon, the problems that they had rather than the problems I thought I needed to fix.
So you didn't follow past guest Colin Breyer, who is Jeff Bezos's right-hand man. I think they call him Jeff's shadow from Amazon, who is all about working backwards from the customer. What does the customer want? And then let's work backwards from that, whereas you'd kind of worked forwards, which is I'm going to create an ebook and the customer's going to love it. Clearly, that's not how things work. Sometimes we luck it out and we get it. But the idea of actually building that Facebook community, providing content, but just looking at the discussions and what were you looking at the language that was being used, the questions that were being asked, the frustrations that your members were expressing, was that sort of guiding you then to create content that actually hit them between the eyes?
Definitely. And it allowed me to test things without having to make things. It allowed me to, write programs or give them free access to training apps or ebooks and be able to get instant feedback and without them having to fork out money to actually find out if they liked it or not. And I think it was that valuable feedback of, what they were telling me, the problems they had, like I don't have time, I don't have access to a gym, I can't leave the house. So all these little pain points that they told me allowed me to go, okay, well, why am I creating a 6-day-a-week gym program that goes for on average an hour when the average dad only has 20 minutes and he only has a set of dumbbells and he hates leaving the house because he feels guilty that he's left the wife and kids. So, okay, well, let's turn around and create something that needs minimal equipment. It can be done from the lounge room and takes 20 minutes or less. So it's like just working out what pain points they had and, really, I guess, reverse engineering those into what I can supply them based upon the knowledge I have now.
Yeah, love it. Was there any times, Leroy, when you followed that theory of listening to what the community wants and then reaching out to them and saying, hey, guys, I'm thinking of doing this, and you go ahead and create an ebook around it or a series of videos and then and they say, yeah, that's awesome. We'd love that. We'd pay for that. And then actually you get it to market it and they don't pay for it. They don't want it. Has that happened?
Yeah, mate, there has been actually. And a few people probably listening to this now will probably go, oh shit, that was me. But I've launched a few bits of clothing that like, it's got massive, like 100 likes and comments. Yeah, this is awesome. Can't wait to get one. And then you launch it and it's like you sell 2 in the first week and you're like, yeah, what's happening? Like, so yeah, I'm very selective now in what I do. And I still put it in the group because I love to get the feedback. If I've got 2 or 3 different designs, I'm going to roll with one. Whereas previously I'd probably, put the 3 designs and go, yep, let's do all 3. So it still is important, but I'm very cautious in, the amount of stock I buy upfront and what I actually do now to actually launch that product.
We'll talk about how you're monetizing the Fit Dad lifestyle brand shortly, but I'm still interested in building that community and that kind of that core group that are going to kind of, as Seth Godin said, you don't have to appeal to everyone. You just need to appeal to. He used the word 1,000. Every small business needs 1,000 raving fans. I'm not sure. 1,000's a big number for some businesses, but we need a small group of raving fans. Was there a moment, Leroy, was there a piece of content that you created that tipped everything over in a positive sense and really pushed the brand forward?
We have had a few viral posts like get millions and millions of comments and hundreds of thousands of shares and that.
Hang on.
Yeah.
They're big numbers, man. Millions of comments?
Yeah. Millions of views, about 100,000 shares. And yeah, like I think one of them was recently, it was a picture of me with the kids just at Moreton Island. And it was like, in 10 years' time, I'm going to be 45 with a 14-year-old a 17-year-old and a 10-year-old. How about you? And that's all it was. Something as basic and simple, and thinking I'd just get, 20 comments and move on to the next piece of comment. And it just blew up. And even today, like if I log on to the Facebook, it's still going. It's, the reach on that is in the tens of millions. Crazy.
It's nuts. So two things. What do you put that down to? What you must have dissected it. You must have thought about, geez,
I've tried to imitate it 30 different ways since. And I honestly, I don't know. Right timing, right, person sharing. Like it got shared by a lot of pages as well. So their following might have seen it.
Okay. That's a lot. Some big numbers there. Likes, shares, and comments don't pay the mortgage. How did you monetize that viral post?
I actually went into my business manager and I started retargeting all my ads against people who were engaged with that post. So I did see a bit of a jump in that, but with all the Apple stuff that's now come in place as well, I don't know how that will play out for the next few months, but we'll see how we go.
What do you mean Apple stuff? You mean Facebook stuff?
With the attribution, I think the privacy iOS 14 stuff. So basically in the last week and a half, we've seen our ads just drop in half based upon everyone opting into, no privacy, no tracking and all that. So it's going to be sort of a teething period, I think, for another month for everyone in the social media world who are paying to play, I guess.
Mate, get into the Small Business Big Marketing tribe on Facebook. Luke Moulton is our Facebook specialist there, and he may well have the answer for you. He's got some, in fact, and he's in the middle of actually creating a Facebook training product how to use it to generate leads. So, but mate, if you're not in that Facebook, that's my community. That's why I'm talking to you, because I want to learn how to nurture communities. We're getting to there. So you start to build this community. You get some posts that go viral. Where's your first point of monetizing this? When's it become a business?
Yeah, so last July we launched our supplements. So we were just planning to be an online training business, and that was the plan. Just online coaching, online training for dads. And we kept getting asked all these different questions all the time. What supplements do you use? What supplements do you recommend? Et cetera, et cetera. And we were telling them the same things to the same people. And then one day someone said, I've seen this question asked like 10 times. Why don't you just bring out your own supplements so we can all just buy them and you don't have to do it? I'm like, why not? Let's do it. So, mate, we found the manufacturer and spent about 9 months working with their food scientists and their team there to develop the perfect blend of lifestyle supplements to, cater what the pain points that we were finding fathers had dealt with. And this is where the community really helped us figure out, okay, what sort of supplements do you like? What sort of flavoring? What do you want it to do for you? What are you struggling with right now? And we took all that knowledge to the team there and the food techs, and they developed it. And mate, we launched in July last year, and it's been going absolutely crazy ever since.
That's amazing, isn't it? So your first foray into monetizing Fit Dad lifestyle is supplements, and you wouldn't have thought that in a million years. I mean, you probably thought you were going to be running online training courses or, having boot camps for dads up on the Sunshine Coast or all of this. And I know there are other ways you are monetizing it, which we'll touch on, but that's amazing. And plus you've got no product experience whatsoever. And you're just going, okay, well, that's what they want. And I must say, for your community to reach out and say, hey, why don't you just create your own brand of supplements and we'll buy them instead of telling us to go and buy Swiss or Blackmores or whatever it is. That's a very good pat on the back for the brand that you've built. It's a lot of trust.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And mate, I think this is going back to what we spoke about earlier in the YouTube University. It's a way of very quickly learning what we need to do and how we need to do it. And I was lucky enough that the owners of the manufacturing plant actually come on board as business partners. So we got to avoid a lot of, I guess, hurdles and pitfalls that we could have went down. So we got to be, held our hand through a lot of the processes, got put in touch with, the right box manufacturers, for example, and the right designers and the right people for our sachet manufacturing and all these kind of different things. So we were very, I guess, blessed with the opportunity that they presented us, and to this day that partnership is growing stronger and stronger, and we're actually in talks to release a few different brands and products out to the market over the next 12 months as well.
More brands in the supplement space, or
in the supplement space, but not under the Fit Dad umbrella.
Right. Tell me more. Don't quite understand that. Are you starting other businesses? You can't talk about it? Tell me.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's still early days at the moment, but yeah, a couple other companies in the supplement industry, but hitting different markets and hitting a few different pain points that haven't been sort of actioned to the level that we believe that they could. So,
are these targeting dads?
No, they won't be targeting dads. They'll be a bit more broad range.
So that tells me one of two things, and maybe a third thing. Either you are being distracted by a bright, shiny object and had some success with supplements for the Fit Dad lifestyle brand and gone, well, I'm going to do this elsewhere, and are being opportunistic, or Fit Dad lifestyle brand isn't as important to you anymore. You want to branch out into other things, which I don't think is the case, but it feels like you might be taking your eye off the ball and being distracted. What am I missing?
No, not at all. Just an opportunity. So there's actually a group of us. So it's 4 of us involved in this process. So it's not like me having to put another 50% over somewhere else. And once again, very early days, and yeah, mate, just sort of taking advantage of another niche and another gap in the market that we have established and needs picking up and taking to levels that may be apparent overseas and not yet here in Australia. And
all will be revealed. We will see. Sounds like a little bit of a distraction, but like at the same time, if there's an opportunity there, then have a crack at it. So supplements start to, I guess, bankroll, if you like, Fit Dad lifestyle. You're building the community. You've got the supplements going. What other ways are you monetizing the brand?
Yeah, so basically that's it, to tell you the truth. The supplements and clothing is the only way that we monetize. We do have ebooks and the training app on the website, but we tend to give that away for free more often than not through different landing pages and to our community members. So the idea behind the supplements and the other stuff that is on the website is that it allows us to keep everything else as cost effective or free for the dads that we deal with. So we don't want dads to have to buy supplements and then buy this over here and then spend a subscription over here and do this, that, and everything else. Like, we want to continue to try and give as much education, support, motivation, and content as possible to help them on their journey, because and the sales of the supplements is allowing us to be sort of paid for our time and allowing us to reinvest that stuff back in there, which goes full circle. So the dads get a tremendous amount of value and support and help for absolutely nothing, and half the community members, or even 3/4 of them, don't even use the supplements because they might be based in Europe or America, which we aren't heavily promoting at the moment in those regions. So it sort of allows us to really build those strong relationships and partnerships as such, and the community-like feeling without them having to be expected to give anything in return.
So are you giving support to these young dads? You're doing it via your Facebook group and your podcast. Is that right? That's how that's where they're getting the value. That's where you're building the trust. Yeah.
So the trust is built in the Facebook group. We have got the YouTube channel, which has a heap of educational videos. We've got our training app, which has got about 900 dads on it as well. And we've got like an internal private chat on there, and one-on-one messaging that they can have with us as well. So
you've got an app.
Yeah, so we white labeled a Trainerize app. So Trainerize is a fitness software. We tried doing it ourselves, but it was never at that standard where I was happy with. So I thought, why am I trying to reinvent the wheel when I can go to someone who specializes in fitness training, and we customize that. So if you open it up, you wouldn't think it was Trainerize. It's got all our branding and all our color codes and all our messaging, and all that is the Fit Dad lifestyle. But yeah, it just allows us to
Do you charge for it?
One-off purchase. So they can either purchase for $9.95 as a one-off. If they're in our group, they get it for free. And if they spend $50 on the website, they get it for free. And that's just for life. So we get charged obviously monthly for it, but we pay a set fee and we can have unlimited members on there. So.
And what are those 900 getting on the app? What are they? What's
daily workouts. So They get a workout every day. They've got all video demonstrations with myself explaining the exercise and how to do it safely and the correct technique. They can track all the different workouts they're doing. They can, connect it with MyFitnessPal and all these different, like their smartwatches and stuff, and, track any nutrition that they're doing and, add, photos if they want to track their before and after photos and all that kind of stuff. So there's a tremendous amount of value there, and it's ongoing for, a lifetime value. So
one of the things, and like I said at the start of this interview, Leroy, I think more business owners should spend more time building and nurturing a community. I know many who hear that go, well, it's just going to take a whole lot of time, and I don't have that time, and I don't see where's the money, where's the commercial return in that. What do you say to business owners who are ignoring this idea of community and building a tribe? Are they leaving money on the table?
Yeah, 100%. I think if I was ever launch another product, I would build the community out first and do it the way that we've done it this way, because I've tried in the past of bringing a product or a service to the market, and it's 10 times harder than trying to build a brand or a community, once you've launched, than it is having that tribe of 1,000, like you mentioned at the start, already ready to go. Yeah, it does take time, but if you want the success and you want that true relationship with your potential customers, then I think definitely going to Facebook and getting a free group and building a community out and giving as much value as you possibly can in your field is definitely worth the time and money. And I think with the Facebook group as well, I never did anything through my Facebook page. So I always talked to that community and responded and everything under my personal name in there. So it added that a bit more of a personal connection as well. So it wasn't like it was the Fit Dad Lifestyles replying to this comment about, divorce and blah, blah, blah. It was actually a person with a real account that they could add as a friend or direct message and actually have that one-on-one connection. I think that was very important, as not to come across as too commercial or too corporate.
Yeah. Don't come across as the brand, come across as the founder or the person behind that brand. Again, we don't do that enough.
Yep.
Business owners sticking their head up and saying, hey, it's me, people like to have that personal relationship with the founder. Not always possible as the business grows. How much time are you spending a week nurturing the Facebook group and the people inside the app?
To tell you the truth, the Facebook group is a 24/7 type thing. So I might only be at the warehouse, in front of the computer.
All business owners are just hit stop now.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do that. Haven't got time. 24/7.
Yeah, it really is, because once you get different people on different time zones, it just people pulling you from every different angle, and you can only give so much. Like at the end of the day, you've still got a company to run, you've still got children you need to manage, and personal life you need to continue, but. Yeah, my day sort of starts at 4 a.m. I wake up and I don't need to be up at that hour, but it allows me to deal with those members that may be in different time zones and really reply to them or reply to emails or make phone calls. And then I go to the gym at 5 and, the day sort of starts from there. But I just find going on there for, 10, 15 minutes every couple of hours, whilst you're awake, gets the job done and allows you to...
That's quite a pressure. With the tribe, with the Small Business Big Marketing tribe on Facebook, I'm sort of making it a point of going in maybe once a day, once every second day, and just having a skim, seeing what's going on, replying if I need. But, 15 minutes every couple of hours, that seems, I don't know, it doesn't seem like you can continue to do that. Do you have support? Have members put their hands up and said, hey, we'd like to help you out? I'd be, a voluntary moderator or whatever. People offering that service?
Yeah, we do have a couple of moderators, and we have some rules and announcements in that group that sort of explain what we're about and, what you can do in the group and can't do in the group. We don't want any spam. We don't want any negativity. We created it as a safe haven for fathers.
No dad jokes.
Mate, dad jokes are welcome. But just, a lot of the pyramid schemes, people were coming in and trying to take advantage of 4,000 people and going, sign up to X, Y, Z. And then trying to, even getting down to donations. And we help out with donations to quite a few community members, but it started getting to a point where every day someone was running or doing push-ups or doing something for a different cause, and you honestly just can't keep up and support them all. And, with that many people in there, it's like, well, if there's something legit like a GoFundMe for something that's happened with their family, we're happy to jump on board. But people raising $200 because they're cycling or running 10Ks a day for the next 3 days, it's like,
You mentioned a couple of things in regards to overseas members of the Fit Dad lifestyle. One is, it's forcing you to get up early and making the Facebook group a 24/7 proposition for you to manage, which just doesn't seem manageable. And the other one is, you're not selling supplements to them overseas. You suppose you could deliver a whole lot and drop ship it from somewhere over in the middle of America or something. Have you thought, there's enough fit young dads, or there's enough young dads who'd like to be fit in Australia? Have you given any thought to maybe niching down to the fit Australian dad lifestyle?
Yeah, look, so when we started with the manufacturers and started the whole supplement angle, that was pre-pandemic last year, and we'd just come off 6 weeks in America and we fell in love with it.
BC, before COVID.
Yeah, that's right. And we actually were planning to move to America, and that's why everything was USA focused. Like 70% of our group, email list, podcast listeners, et cetera, are American, because of that reason. Everything that we're doing was American focused. And when we launched the podcast, the products last July, we very quickly had to realize that there's no flights going out of the country. The postage was through the roof. It was taking a month for some deliveries to get there, and it just wasn't sustainable. So we had to pivot very quickly. And, we did have Australians in there, but more family and friends. It wasn't really pushing out there to the general market. And, we had to very quickly grow that Australian audience within there, and also with the advertising, and pushed on that angle. But we're sort of in a good spot now, because we are talking with a third-party logistics operator, and they've got bases on the West Coast, East Coast, and also in the middle of America. And we're going to partner up with a few friends over there as well, and launch into America over the next couple of months. So I think it will be the best of both worlds very soon.
What frustrates you the most about running the business?
To tell you the truth, probably the social media side of things. Look, I've made my bed.
It's a brand built on social media, mate.
I know. But, to tell you the truth, I'd love to just switch my phone off for a week and just disappear and go camping with the family. But I've sort of made this bed that I have to lie in for the short term until I get some staff and lose those trust issues and actually be able to hand over the reins a little bit more to other people. And, it is very time intensive. I don't let it take away from anything I have to do with the family or any time that I want to spend with the kids. But if something's happening with the website or something, the customer's having an issue, when it's just yourself, you've got to stop everything and put that fire out very quickly, because if you don't, the whole ship could go down. So it's just those little things of always having to be on and always having that mind that is sort of running a million miles an hour. So I think, trying to outsource a lot more and getting a few moderators for the group and a few different, people that can start taking a bit more responsibility, or whether that's paid or unpaid, and, be able to do that will be definitely one thing that I'm looking to do over the next 12 months, and, try and regain some of that time back.
Do you have a mentor?
Yeah, I would say yes. My current business partners, I'm on the phone to them every day, and, we're talking and, plans of the future, plans now. And so prior to that, no, I didn't. But I would say definitely in the last 12 months, I've learned so much more about not only the space that we're playing in, but about business and social, and that I would not have been forced to learn or be forced to level up and sort of get to that stage, and more I think from the business structure point of view, so from the legality side of things, from having proper accounting practices, having, the trademarks and all the, different companies that you need for your IP, all this kind of different stuff. And I think it's very quickly forced me to level up from that angle, from actually running it as a proper business rather than just a little side hustle.
Yeah, it feels like that whole control thing for you, and I wasn't planning on this being a coaching call, and tell me to shut up if I'm, get going too far, but that control thing for you is just feels like it's stopping you, like from actually, creating, because I love the idea of Fit Dad Lifestyle as a brand name, as a mission, what you're doing, having been a dad. Oh, no, I still am a dad. Actually, they just happen to be older. Yeah. My youngest is 21 today. So it's like, they're older. But, as young dads, I've experienced the pain, and I see other dads, my nephews and other family friends, experience that. But so you're onto something, you really are. And,
yeah, definitely.
And I don't know. I just think, that control aspect is kind of limiting you from growing. But I could also take the other aspect, and because you've been in the military and you've had blokes yelling down your neck, telling you to pull your bloody socks up or get out, all that kind of stuff, you're probably tough enough to take it. But it's like, to me, I want to say, it's like, how dare you not get this brand greater coverage and reach? And, every single young dad in Australia should know about it, right? It's like you're doing them a disjustice by not allowing that to happen, and you're doing yourself a disjustice because, the brand, and I'm not, you might not want to build an empire, but, it's a brand that is needed. That's kind of that's the feeling I have.
Well, I think it's sort of given us a good standing point, and I'll tell you of what we've implemented in the last couple of months, but by doing everything that we have done, myself personally, I know absolutely every aspect of the business, from the back end of the tech to the product to the formulation to everything. Like, there is nothing that I do not know about this business. And recently I employed a branding guy who's gone through and fixed all our website and our thank you cards, and he redesigned all our packaging and the sachets and all this. And now he's sort of on a weekly retainer, basically taking away my, attempts on Canva to create something, and he's turning those sort of mock-ups into, masterpieces. And so, yeah, I have outsourced, I guess, the branding and graphic design element now, which is actually quite a bit. And he's helping out with marketing. He's got access to the website, so he can go on and update stuff straight away. And then recently I hired a Clavio, so an email marketing expert as well. And she's gone through and completely transformed all my email marketing, my templates, my flows, my abandoned card and all this. So yeah, it is something that.
And have both those appointments been successful for you? Have you felt comfortable letting go?
Mate, they've been huge. Yeah. Oh, at the time it's like, geez, is it really worth this money? Is it, this is quite a bit to let go of, and, I can just do what they're going to do anyway. But then once they come through with the results, you go, geez, I would have paid 4 times to have this, because what I'm thinking is, justifiable and, gets a tick in the box. They've just gone above and beyond and just taken things to another level. And, it's something that now I can start, outsourcing a little bit more and, lose control of a little bit here and there, and not have to keep it as sort of my little baby. Yes. I can sort of allow other people who are experts in their field to come in and help us grow, because we do want to take it to that level where.
Are you crystal clear in your mind where you add the most value in your business?
Yeah. So I actually see the Fit Dad Lifestyle as more a content and media machine than anything else. Obviously we got the supplements there, that help support that side of things, but we are really, that thing that is giving motivation, education, support through, video, podcasts, posts, emails, every day, and all these different things that is just giving value. And I actually think that that's, what we're, really good at and where we're really strong. And, to do that, we supply, all these different options as cost effective or completely free. So I think that that's probably where we're at.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, that just going back to, you mentioned Gary V with the jab, 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 right hook philosophy, which is an awesome philosophy. It basically means a jab is a give, and a right hook is an ask. And I think Stephen Covey, the late Stephen Covey, who wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Successful People also talked about depositing into the emotional bank account of your customer, because the more you deposit, when it comes time to put your hand out and ask for the sale, you got such a great big balance of emotional support.
Yep.
And I talk about the concept of helpful marketing for exactly that reason. Be helpful in your marketing. Use your marketing to solve the problems of your customers and prospects. And if you do that, they can make a more informed purchase decision. Price is going to become less sensitive, and you're going to develop trust in them, or they're going to have developed trust in you, so they're going to buy from you. So it kind of works that way. So I like that whole idea of you talking about the Fit Dad lifestyle as being a content and media machine, because that's where the value is. There's no shortage of supplements.
No.
There's no shortage of hoodies and bloody caps that you can buy from other brands. So why are people going to buy from you? Because they're going to trust you and they're going to want to wear your brand or consume your brand. And so, yeah, that's the good thing. And that's back to my question. That's what you're particularly good at, is creating the content and solving the problems that your members are identifying.
Yeah, 100%. And, it's something that really gives us passion. And I think, 3 years ago, I was one of those people on the social media where everything had to be perfect. It was the perfect post. If it didn't get the perfect likes or the comments, it was still ahead. It was really in that mindset. But now I'm quite happy to pick up the phone as I'm out walking the dog and rant down the phone for a minute against,
love it,
whatever topic, and just be real. And it was when I started actually being a lot more real and true to myself, I actually noticed that, the engagement and the actual response and, the following grew, because they weren't just seeing smoke and mirrors on the side. They were actually seeing the real person behind the brand. Be
real, brother. It's all about being real.
100%.
No one wants to be sold to.
No, that's right.
That's awesome, man. Well, listen, thefitdadlifestyle.com is where you'll find Leroy. You'll find him on Facebook. Is it Fit Dad Lifestyle Australia? No,
it's just the Fit Dad Lifestyle. Across all the socials. We have got the Fit Dad Lifestyle community on Facebook as well, which is our group.
Awesome, bud. Well, you're doing a good job, and what I love about it is that there's so much more to come. I reckon if I chatted to you, and let's chat in 2 or 3 years' time, that those 4,000 dads that are currently there will be 40, maybe 400,000 dads, because again, it's a brand that's needed, and well done to you for bringing it to the marketplace. Good luck, Leroy.
Mate, highly appreciate the chat. Thank you.
Well, there you go, team. Fit Dad Lifestyle founder Leroy Faure. Did you enjoy that? I certainly did. Like I said, he's yet to build an empire, but he's going about it the right way. Here's what grabbed my attention from that chat with Leroy. Attention grabber number 1. I love how Leroy just started providing quality information in order to build his community. It's what my book, The Boomerang Effect, talks about all the time. Be helpful. Like I say on the cover, why being helpful in your marketing returns you more customers and makes you more money. It's what you want to do. Attention grabber number 2. I love Leroy's phrase, the university of YouTube. We can all benefit from it, both by finding tutorials and how-to videos to help us solve problems. Plus, as a business owner or marketer, you should be creating these types of videos for your prospects and your customers. They're great at helping you rank well, plus they'll help all your prospects make a more informed purchase decision, often in your favour. That's got to be a good thing. Attention grabber number 3. I love how Leroy took soul-searching trips overseas in order to get his mindset right. We all need to do a bit of that. When was the last time you found some quiet time to reflect, re-energise and get creative about that precious business of yours, huh? What? Never? Really? Some of you were saying not in the last 12 months? Really? Maybe it's time to stop and put on the thinking cap. A bit of reflection time is important. That's what grabbed my attention. Write down this number and call me after the show's over to tell me what grabbed yours. +61 480 015 150. Just like listener Isabella did.
Hey Timbo, been wanting to call the business hotline for so long now, and I finally worked up the courage after seeing your post on the Business Tribe on Facebook. My name's Isabella and I'm a full-time marketing manager up at Sydney. But on the side, my family actually runs 2 Italian cafes, gelaterias and restaurants down the south coast of New South Wales in Gerringong and Culburra Beach called Italian Bambinos that I do all the marketing for. If you want to check it out, we're on Instagram and Facebook, and our website is italianbambinos.com.au. My sister is actually a patisserie chef who bakes our traditional Italian sweets for the cafes, and my dad was a CEO and worked for a corporate for over 20 years before deciding he wanted to go into hospitality and make a sea change. I actually stumbled on your show looking to improve my knowledge about business and marketing last year after COVID, as we had to quickly change our cafe into a restaurant that suddenly did takeaway and deliveries. And I can't thank you enough. I'm totally in love with your podcast. It's so inspiring, and I listen to it on my commute to and from work every day. The guests you have on are fantastic. I love hearing how they grow their businesses into empires, and it's marketing GOLD. As you can tell, I've listened to so many shows, I've learned all the lingo. Your podcast has also inspired me to start my own small business that is very niche, targeting consumers with a certain breed of dogs. I was actually a bit worried about starting such a niche business at first, and it seemed crazy. But after listening to your latest podcast with Tim Reid and how specialised her croissant business is, and focusing on one certain pastry, it's just driving me to launch my little empire even faster. I'm still developing the products and finishing my website, but it's coming together great, and I can't wait to share it in the near future with you. Thanks, Timbo. Can't wait to hear more amazing podcasts from you soon. Keep up the good work. Bye.
Hey, thank you so much, Isabella. Well done for finding the courage to call. It wasn't that scary, was it? You got a great energy. Hey, you sounded like it was a breeze leaving that message. And good luck to you with the new business idea targeting owners of a certain breed of dog. I do love a good niche, Isabella, and that sounds like a particularly good one. So I wish you well in that. I'm glad my little podcast has been some inspiration along the way. Everyone else, do what Isabella did. Call the Small Business Big Marketing hotline and leave me a message. 0480 015 150. Next episode, we catch up with world-leading naming expert Alexandra Watkins, who'll share her tried and tested process for coming up with what she calls sticky names, or names that stick. Plus, she's agreed to review the names of 10 lucky Small Business Big Marketing Facebook group members' businesses. Pretty cool. Membership really does have its privileges, clearly. If you're not a member of the group, be sure to get on Facebook and look up the Small Business Big Marketing Tribe. It is free. You can also grab a copy of my book, The Boomerang Effect, over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. If you're loving the show, then you'll find 552 more episodes on your favourite podcast app. Now, this podcast was presented by me, Tim Reid. The Music Bed was written, sung, produced by Lockie Doley, the legend, and then all component parts herded together into a digital holding pen and hammered together by producer Dave Zolowensky. Thanks, Dave. Until next time, team, thank you so much for tuning in. May your marketing be the absolute best marketing. Bye for now.